What do you think? In my eyes, I had taken a huge risk moving to New York City. No job, no desire to get a job, and no plan other than to go viral and blow up my music. I know my situation is probably slightly different than most people who want to move across the country, but here's why you should move to New York City, or at least out of your small town, and what happened to me while in New York. I documented my first 7 months, and you can watch that here somewhere on the screen. TLDR, basically found a studio space as well as new collaborators and friends, made a ton of new music, made some videos, accrued debt, started busting tables at STK. The studio closed, I moved to the Bronx, and then I found a Craigslist spot in Bushwick that I called home for the duration of my time in New York, and quit STK to serve at Modern Love in Brooklyn, closer to my new apartment. I moved to New York City because being from a suburb in LA, I had always had a desire to live in New York for at least a year. I'd always loved the idea of the seasons and the energy of the city. I graduated college at the University of Arizona and was living at my mom's with no job prospects. I had nothing to lose. But I won't lie, I almost canceled my flight to New York because it was fucking scary. However, sometimes changing shit up actually changes things. Make a commitment to yourself that the bold version of you wouldn't hesitate to make and see what happens. For me, I was moving to New York City and figuring it the fuck out. I essentially felt that I would make it in music or I would die trying. I wouldn't leave New York City until I'd made it. Shave your head, move to a new place where no one knows you, sign up for a marathon and figure it out. Worst case, your hair grows back, you move back home, or you lose some money. But no one can take the experiences, perspectives, and growth away from you. Everyone I've ever talked to that has tried a new city has genuinely changed for the better. For the experiences alone, plus the ability to say that you tried something that was out of your comfort zone, to not live with regret. 100% you gotta go for it. We typically regret the things that we didn't do. The Bushwick apartment was my first time really living on my own. I saw it as my own space with a shared bathroom, a shared kitchen, and a shared living room. And it's about to be my first New York City summer. Society, which is made up by a bunch of individuals, will try to make you conform. They'll tell you to keep your one shit job throughout your 20s so that it looks good on your resume, even if you fucking hate it. So yes, take the leap, go for it. Let me know how it goes, please. I'm in the apartment in Bushwick, but what happened over the next year and a half may surprise you. It's April 2022. I keep doing sessions with friends, filming social media marketing, and going to shows and performing my own. I was having fun, I was working, I was learning, and editing all the footage I documented over the previous 7 months in New York. I went to Dallas with Bungalow Collect because they were performing at a music festival, and because you regret the things that you don't do. I don't regret it. A song that just came out called Normalized, I produced in Dallas over 2 years ago. Check out Normalized, it's out now on all streaming platforms. My mom and siblings came into town and told me about 11 Madison Park. As I was vegan at the time, and so we went to EMP for a drink at the bar, I asked the bartender if they're hiring because I needed to make more money to pay off my debt. I got the job. Right before starting at 11 Madison Park, I did Tony Robbins' UPW virtual, and that was great. However, EMP immediately took over my schedule. It's very intense, and it's not what I wanted to do. I planned a release show for the Zico and Friends Volume 1 mixtape that I had put out, which was super fun because it brought all the homies in New York together, and I was able to see them live and see them all do their thing. But the reality was I had very little time for myself. I was making good money, but I was miserable. EMP won 3 stars as the first ever plant-based 3-star Michelin restaurant, which was cool to be a part of, but I knew I wanted to leave, but I didn't have a way out. So I sold my car back in LA, quit 11 Madison Park. Once again, a big risk at the time. I was very scared to take, but I wanted different, so I had to be willing to do different too. Look at your superiors at any organization. That is who you will be if you naturally progress in the company. Do you want to be them? And if that doesn't excite you, find someone who you can learn from that you would like to be in some ways in the future. I now had a few months savings. So obviously after that, I got a comfy job, and that's it. I'm playing. After some conversations with friends, I chose to go for it instead of getting a new job.
Thinking the things that you want to do, things that I want to do by the time that I'm actually...
I went back to LA for Thanksgiving and my birthday, and I couch surfed in LA. Got back to New York City and then locked the fuck in. My high school friend Justin, who I did a cross-country road trip with, I proposed we got an apartment in LA. I strongly considered going back to LA. Family's in LA, the music business, it's in LA. Then I got kicked out of my apartment in New York and spent New Year's Eve in LA moving into my new apartment. It's 2023, kept doing sessions and marketing my music. But I ran out of money again, so I started serving at Juliet. I met a girl, tried for my 3rd time to get a full scholarship to LAMP, a music program that I had dreamed of doing since I heard about it on the And the Writer Is podcast. Had gotten in all 3 years, but it's like 40 grand and I just wasn't in the position to be able to do that.
It's a 1-year program, making music every day and learning from mentors. There are no teachers, there are no professors, there's only people that have done this before that are sharing their knowledge.
And I threw a show called the Indie Pop Fest, and once again had the homies that were in LA perform. If you want different, you gotta be willing to do different. This time, it was to do LAMP, and once again, figure it the fuck out. I had to keep going. Even though I couldn't afford it, I decided to do LAMP. My stepmom reminded me at the time, money comes and goes. It should never be the reason not to go for what you want. So should you go for it? Absolutely. My story sucks if I don't take a bunch of risks or fail a bunch. Just don't stop. I ultimately broke the second second part of my commitment. I moved back home and hadn't made it yet, but I'll never forget my time in New York City, and it definitely helped me grow in a ton of ways, and I met some incredible people. At first, coming back to LA kind of felt like I had failed, but then I realized you only truly fail if you stop. I'm excited to be documenting the process, going from an unknown artist to a full-time musician with creative and financial freedom. Stick around and see if we make it happen. Keep going.